Why don't Jedi name their lightsabers?
Hey, guess what? This is my theme song.
Recently I went to Galaxy's Edge and built a lightsaber. This is the lightsaber that I built. And this was pretty much my main reason for wanting to go to Galaxy's Edge. There's no blade in this. You can't really see, but it's blue. It was actually a really cool experience, and I do really dig this lightsaber. Although I built it from a set number of pieces, meaning there are a finite number of combinations possible, meaning I'm not the only person in the world who has a Savi's Workshop lightsaber exactly like this one. But I did pick the pieces, so I do feel kind of connected to it, which does make this pretty cool. While I was there, I also picked up this Legacy Edition Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi lightsaber, which has always been my favorite lightsaber. So just having this thing is really cool. Because I can have this screen accurate version, or I can take off the handle and screw on, where'd it go? Here it is. Put on this adapter that allows me to put in the blade. Nope, like that. Because this one you can't really put a blade into because, you know, it's too thin and whatnot. Then a few days after going to Galaxy's Edge, my girlfriend and I got caught up on the ending of Game of Thrones, which I stopped watching after the battle with the Night King for other reasons that is a rant for a completely separate video. Putting these two things together, and I really started to deep think about this whole system in its entirety. All throughout Game of Thrones, people name their swords, and they make a big deal about their swords having names. Well, most people. Some people make fun of the people who name their swords, but that's beside the point. All the swords in Lord of the Rings have names. According to Gandalf, swords earn their names based on the deeds they've done in battle. I have a guitar that has a name. This is my Ibanez ART 300. This is my baby. I call it the Gator. It even has a bite taken out of it. I play it with my pick of destiny. Copyright. I'm just going to put that down over there. Move on. My car has a name. It's called Serenity, and I love my car. It seems to me that naming things is the natural way to express that you care about something, whether it's alive or not. My parents cared about me enough to give me a name. It's Thomas. Did you not know that? Good. I'm glad you knew that. All throughout Attack of the Clones, Obi Wan lectures Anakin about how important the lightsaber is. This weapon is your life! But all throughout the prequels, it seems to be that lightsabers are interchangeable. It doesn't matter which one you have as long as you have one. In Attack of the Clones, both Obi-Wan and Anakin lose their lightsabers and are given new ones for the final fight. If you shop for the Obi-Wan lightsaber, you'll have to specify, do you want the Obi-Wan lightsaber from Phantom Menace or from A New Hope? Because he wielded different sabers at different times. I feel a strong desire to name my Savi's Workshop lightsaber, but I realized that Jedi don't name their lightsabers, so it suddenly felt inappropriate. So I took to the Book of Faces. Facebook sounds cooler if you say it like it's from Game of Thrones. I asked, why don't Jedi name their lightsabers? And I got a plethora of answers. But one answer in particular seemed to make the most sense. The Jedi Order teaches freedom from attachment. The second you name your lightsaber, you become attached to it. But when you stop to think about it, I'm just not that sure that the evidence supports that theory. Look at how much trouble a Padawan has to go through to build their lightsaber. There are entire episodes of Clone Wars and other literature devoted to just the building of one's lightsaber, and how they have to choose the crystal that calls to them alone and use the Force to guide them to the pieces that call to them. That sure sounds like a connection and attachment to me. They are bonded through the Force. From the moment the Force user builds the lightsaber, the Force has connected them. So it sounds like the Force, through the Force, the lightsaber and the kyber crystals are trying to reach out and connect to the Force user, but then the Jedi practice freedom from attachment so they don't return the attachment. So it is a non-reciprocating, it's not reciprocated. Man, the Jedi are cold. Those of us who are paying attention will note that Darth Vader's lightsaber is pretty closely modeled after Anakin's lightsaber, at least the one that he used in Revenge of the Sith, the one that eventually passed down to Luke and then called through to Rey through the Force. Darth Vader's lightsaber is pretty closely modeled after that particular lightsaber. Theoretically, he could have built his lightsaber to be anything. This is Anakin. He has experience with other lightsabers, right? I mean, he could have built any sort of thing, but he built one to mimic his old one, at least the one that he happened to wield in Revenge of the Sith. Now, is that just a coincidence? I don't think so. After Luke lost his lightsaber, the one that was his father's, at the end of Empire, that wasn't really his, that was his father's, and then he had to build his own. He built one based off of his mentor, Obi Wan. I don't have Obi Wan's saber, I just have Luke's, but Obi Wan's saber looks remarkably similar to this, so clearly Luke's was based off of this. If you look at Obi Wan's saber from A New Hope, and from, I guess, Revenge of the Sith, which is interesting. He used the same saber in the 20-something years, 17 years from Revenge of the Sith to New Hope, but from Phantom Menace to Revenge of the Sith, he had all kinds of different ones. I'm just saying, that's an interesting little factoid. But Luke's self-built new lightsaber that he wielded in Return of the Jedi was remarkably similar and based on Obi-Wan's saber from A New Hope. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think these lightsabers have a deeper meaning to their owners than they're letting on. It's hard for me to believe that the saber that passed down to Luke and then called to Rey through the Force just happened to be the one that Anakin arbitrarily picked to wield that day in Revenge of the Sith. And if it is so arbitrary, why bother having different sabers for different people? Why not have them all look the same? They all do the same thing. The only difference is in the design of the hilt. The only one that does different are the curved ones that Dooku and Count Ventress have. So I'll give you that, because that gives you different fighting styles. But all the ones that aren't curved, hey man, why bother having them be different? Why bother having different designs if the wielder isn't going to be attached to them? As far as I know, no one that has wielded a lightsaber has ever named it. But we here in the real world certainly have named them, which means apparently we are doing a massive disservice to these characters. This is Luke Skywalker's saber from Return of the Jedi. That is the name of this lightsaber. Luke Skywalker's saber from Return of the Jedi. Remarkably similar to the saber that is known as Obi Wan Kenobi's saber from A New Hope. Ultra Sabers, one of the leading lightsaber manufacturers, the company that made the lightsabers that I used in my Star Wars fan film, The Saber, which is currently in post-production and getting the special effects and the lightsaber effects done by my VFX guy, thanks for asking, has a model based on this design called the Archon, which means we could call this the Archon. But by signifying which saber belongs to who and from what time, we are apparently betraying the Jedi Code for whatever reason. Jedi do not name their lightsabers. Seems silly to me. They should, but they don't. Personally, I think that's rubbish. They should, so I'm going to. This is my Savi's Workshop lightsaber, and it is called Shadowcaster, because it casts shadows when you turn it on in a dark place. So there. Earlier this year, I was part of something really, really cool that I couldn't talk about, but now I can. I am in a new show called Real Acting, and it is available now on Amazon Prime.
If this showcase does well, I may open a chain of acting schools. I could be the Circuit City of acting. You can't teach acting.
It's an office-style mockumentary about an acting class. And if you are an actor, or want to be an actor, or have ever taken acting classes, you will love this show. It is all kinds of fun. It's a little blue, but all kinds of fun. And I am very proud to be a part of it. Just go to Amazon Prime and search for Real Acting, or there's a link in the place where links generally are. Go watch it. You'll have a lot of fun. Thank you for watching the Easily Amused Group, the show that clearly has a lightsaber addiction. This isn't even all of them. I have a whole bunch more in the closet that I didn't even take out for this. But, I mean, can one ever really have too many lightsabers? Clearly not. And the other two that were from the film are in my VFX guy's possession right now, so